Survivor specialist Phil and Alexa are back with our, as always, delayed finale recap. That seems to be the trend in recent seasons, and it continued again this year. Season 39 is in the books. Tommy Sheehan got it done. Everybody fell asleep watching TV while he won. Right, Alexa? You were asleep the whole time?
I'm bored just hearing you talk about this, honestly.
Poor Tommy, man. Love Tommy. Love Tommy. I got a lot to talk about with Tommy. All Tommy had to do was name drop the specialist and buy me a beer. He did both of those things. As far as I'm concerned, Tommy is the second best winner of all time behind Michelle Fitzgerald. And I told him that to his face.
He didn't even top Michelle.
No.
Wow.
And ask and you know, I'm hoping we can get a tell-all in with Tommy in the near future here. But I will say that he was not pleased when I said that when he asked, he was like, "So where do I rank?" I said, "You're right behind Michelle Fitzgerald." He's like, "What the hell does that mean?" And I was like, "Whoa, okay."
Whoa.
Time out.
To the fact that he dropped our name on a different podcast and still isn't Michelle's number one, and still isn't number one over Michelle, then that means that all future Survivor winners, you will never be Phil's favorite winner.
Yeah, absolutely. You just have no chance. Unless you're going to win season 40 and your name's Michelle Fitzgerald. Then you're a future winner.
We can talk about it now.
I know. Isn't that amazing? Finally, we can talk about season 40. We got to give season 39 its just due before we get into season 40, which we're going to talk all about what Alexa and I pulled off because we've been tooting our own horns. As Lauren Ashley Beck would say, toot toot. Because I played my game that way. Well, toot, we got all 20 interviews, so enjoy.
Yeah, I was actually going to bring Lauren up because when we were talking about how just absolutely dull it is to listen to Tommy talk all the time, I was watching Lauren's Instagram stories, and everyone's posting photos of like when they've been hanging out within the past 6 months because they can finally do that now. And my favorite one is, I don't know whose boat it is, and I think it's the 4th of July, but everyone go check out Lauren Beck's Instagram story because Tommy is in a American flag Speedo that is scantily clad, and he and Janet are dancing to, I forget the song. It might be Nelly, but it's something good. And it is, it lulls me to sleep, but it was the funniest fucking thing ever.
Yeah, and that's actually what Tommy wore to the post-finale party. He wore the same thing.
Just the Speedo?
Just the Speedo.
Did his tan lines improve? Because he was looking a little...
Can a man as pale as Tommy get a tan line?
Well, you know what? That shows how pale he is because his arms looked tan because of how white the rest of his body
I get the same thing. It's terrible. Like I just have like a permanent farmer's tan, but it's really more of just a permanent farmer's. It's just not as white.
It's just not as white.
It's definitely not a tan.
I think my apartment walls are called like egg white. I think that's it.
That's essentially all it is.
That's our sole survivor, everybody.
That's our sole survivor. I love Tommy. I'm a big Tommy fan. I'll always be a big Tommy fan. I'll never apologize for being a Tommy fan. And anybody who doesn't like it sucks. Sorry.
Well, it's been really fun watching, like living on, just like on the internet because everyone everyone hopped on the, Tommy's so boring train. But then Tommy wins after Dean just like pours out his bag of advantages and everyone's like, oh God, well, I don't know who I'm supposed to hate more now because Tommy won without any of that. And you know what? I thought that was super refreshing. I thought that was an awesome final tribal because it felt like such an old school versus a new school kind of sparring. And they both brought up great points. I think they both had a really good final tribal. And Tommy pulled it out. And I was saying this to a coworker today. From what I've seen with this new format of I'm calling it the firing squad jury instead of the 1-by-1 questioning. If you can be the person to just take that beating and either internalize it or shove it back at them instead of breaking down, I think that's how you win. Because I think so much of it is just being able to handle the 10-on-1 assault.
Yeah, and I love Dean this finale. I thought he was so funny. I thought he did a really great job. I thought he did everything he could. But the amount of like texts or messages or just hearing people say, Dean should have won this season. How could he be robbed? How could he be robbed? What did Dean do the entire season before this episode? And this comes down to like with Chris Underwood, like Dean had all the bling. He had all the bling. Dean's walking around with gold chains and all that fun stuff, but it's like it was all fake gold because he never played any of it. He didn't have to do anything with it. And like, yeah, I thought he was phenomenal. And I feel like we got cheated early on. I thought my prediction of a 6-4 final was actually going to come true. I was getting really excited that I was going to get literally everything in this finale right. But I just like, I get it. Dean looked great there. But at the end of the day, he was given an idol nullifier on a coin flip. So what? I mean, that just doesn't impress me. He plays it because Tommy knew about Janet's idol, and everybody's gonna be like, well, Dean knew about it. Dean. Tommy's the one who confirmed it to him. Dean goes and finds that hidden immunity idol, which that was an incredible scene, which we'll talk about because God, why are there not more scenes like this rather than just, and then I tripped over a tree and there it was in front of me like a snake.
I breathed. Oh my gosh, a nullifier.
It's terrible. But then he doesn't even have to play that. Dean never had to do anything. He just collected things. And like, it's different than if you're Tony, who didn't have to play anything, or he had to play things throughout, but he had that one super idol that he doesn't end up having to play, but he used that to his advantage. Dean never even really had to use this stuff to his advantage. And that idol nullifier play on Janet, we all love Godfather, and I'm happy for Dean that he was able to pull it off or whatever. But at Final Five, this is not hard to do. I mean, if you're putting all your votes on somebody, you're going to play the idol nullifier on them, even if you don't know they have an idol, just to make sure that they don't play the idol. So this is a no-brainer. I think this is like one of the easiest advantage plays ever. And Tommy earned this thing from day one. Dean said, I didn't have a relationship with this person, this person, and this person. You're not going to win Survivor if you don't have relationships with the people.
Well, that's where the whole like collecting thing, like when you say collecting, Tommy, I don't know. So I watched the finale at 2 a.m. after my holiday party. So I like probably am missing a couple things. But one, Tommy said in one of his exit interviews that he called Dean stuff souvenirs, which I thought was great because that just like totally delegitimizes everything. And Tommy said that that was kind of what shifted the tide his way. But I'm for a win that's full of advantages. Like I'm not anti-advantage. I know like Phil and I complain about it all the time. I remember Dr. Mike voted for Chrissy over Ben because Chrissy had more immunity wins than Ben did. And like, that was what he chose. So like vote for whatever reason you want. But I think since Dean kind of only did that, and he even said, I played a fourth quarter game. And so when he and Karishma, like why is Karishma going to vote for him when he was just like trying to get rid of her for 20 days?
Yeah.
So I think that was what ended up being tough for him. And then the one thing that I wish he said, and again, he may have, but my only argument as Dean would have been, I am the reason Tommy wasn't in 10th place. I told Tommy he was going home. Why was that not his end all be all argument?
I think that Tommy made a great point because I thought that was going to be Dean's big moment. And Dean did bring that up, or somebody brought that up and said like, at Final 8 like this, you tell him, and that's why Tommy's here. And Tommy said, but that tells you everything you need to know about my social game.
Okay, that's what I thought.
And that's such a great move by Tommy because it shuts everybody down. And it's like, yeah, okay, cool. Dean made that move and he could be the reason I'm sitting here. But I convinced Dean that he was so close to me that he had to tell me when my name was coming up. And him convincing Nora, I think it's going to be such an underrated move because everybody's just going to crap on Tommy and move on from season 39 and move on to 40. But him convincing Nora to take him to the final and then going and teaching the others how to make fire because he was that good at it. He knew how to play everybody. He knew how to hit everybody's emotions. The only one he clearly couldn't really get to, Elizabeth didn't vote for him and Aaron didn't vote for him. But I loved when Aaron was like, why don't you stop just like dismissing everything Dean did? And everybody else was like, no, I want to hear this. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Stop that. Like, it just showed how close everybody was with him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. And I think that kind of we'll work backwards, but that's kind of what the case was with Lauren too. Like Lauren in her final words, she was like, I the whole jury likes me. Like that's how I was going to win. And that's how this season was meant to be won, which is kind of fitting because the first half of the season I was so iffy on because I feel like people were just voting each other out randomly. So for it to end with just who is the one person who was every single person's number one, that guy deserves to win. And I think from what I've seen, it has been very positive towards Tommy. I have seen very little of Dean was robbed. Like I think but Tommy had such a good final tribal, and a lot of people don't have good final tribals and still win. I think because he absolutely crushed it, that's going to be huge.
I think that was one of the funniest final tribals I've ever seen, because when Tommy and
Okay.
when they would say something and it would piss off the jury, and then they'd be like fist bumping each other, like, yeah, we just made that. Like, it was so entertaining. I love the two of them just ripping. I wish you would have seen more of both of their personalities throughout the season, because what ends up happening,
friendship.
yeah, I think what ends up happening is, like, when you win the show, a lot of maybe your crazier stuff gets cut. Yeah. Especially on a season like this where there's so much crazy, you got to have a straight man. And then Dean, I think they didn't really know what to do with him at the beginning. And it's what Kelly said to him at Final Tribal. I don't know you. Who are you? And
for Kelly to be the one to have said that, the one who had arguably the closest connection to him, that says a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, when it was talking about the idol and how he got the idol, and it's like, yeah, but so Kelly did that for you. And it's like, no, I made that happen. And I think that both guys did a really good job of pitching their games, but Tommy's was just a much, much better game than Dean's. Like, it's the same argument we'd make in 38. Did Chris Underwood deserve to beat Julie and Gavin, who played 39 days, because his last 3 days were epic? And that's really what this came down to. But Dean's last 3 days were nowhere near as epic as Chris Underwood.
Well, the difference is that Dean wasn't able to be friends with the jury for the first three quarters of the game.
Absolutely. But I'm just saying, like, it's what, like, you got to give credit to a game that is built the entire time. And so Tommy did ask, and because, you know, and you know, I'm hoping when we can talk to him, we can really put him on the spot and ask why he wants to know so badly where he ranks as a winner. But he was like, where do I rank?
He knows we don't do that, Tommy. I said, a fan of us.
He's not a fan. He's a fake fan. It was Elaine who told him about us. You know, he's a fake fan. But so he was like, where would you rank it? And I was like, honestly, like, I of course said below Michelle Fitzgerald, but then I said to him, like, honestly, I don't know where I would rank it, but I would want to play exactly how you played. So take that for what it's worth, because if I'm going to be on Survivor, I don't give a crap if I'm the most, like, I wouldn't be the most boring person in the world. And Tommy is not the most boring person in the world, but it's the
winner is going to be boring. Sarah Lacina played a villainous game and they made her.
And at the end of the day, I'd rather have all of you hate me, because my $1 million check is still going to cash.
Yep.
Like,
make me as dull as a doorknob. I don't care.
Yeah, absolutely. No, so I don't know. I feel like Tommy couldn't have done really much more. Well, now I think, though, obviously, like, so much else happened in this. It went exactly as I predicted. I put down for this finale, I got 0 points for the bootless game, which I still have to update everybody's. We'll give the updated things with all the finales. And then I took a red eye last night that got delayed 3 hours. So ask me if I'm happy with my life right now.
I thought it was 2 hours.
No, it ended up getting delayed a whole nother hour because we had a flat tire on our damn plane.
I could tell because I woke up super early this morning and I texted you and it went to a text message and I was like, oh God, he hasn't landed yet.
Yeah. So I got delayed 3 hours. So I have not been able to input everybody's bootless stuff and all of that fun, but we will do that. But Alexa, you look like you want to say something. I was going to go over to Janet. Are we good?
Oh, I was going to go over to them moving to the Island of the Idols. So beautiful.
Okay, cool. I just wanted to talk about how this Janet thing was very predictable. It was very unfortunate. We all know it was going to happen. And man, was it sad. Like, if that
Ponderosa was tough to watch.
Oh, I haven't watched her Ponderosa.
It's not good. She cries the whole time.
Yeah. And I will say that, like, man, it hit when that was going to happen, even as all those confessionals were playing up at the finale, it was so quiet. And normally, like, finale Alexa, we went to the one and it was like loud and everybody was cheering. And this one, it was like, oh God, we don't want to see this happen. We don't want to see this happen. And when she got voted out, it was like dead freaking son. Nobody cheered. Even Dean's family didn't cheer when he played the
Dean's family likes Janet more than they like their own son.
It's just brutal. I mean, it's a tough thing to watch because Janet was such a well-respected and was doing great. I mean, if that one didn't hit you emotionally, man, sociopath is a real thing.
And this was like the one thing I texted you. Like, of course, Jeff was going to give Janet kind of like her one-on-one time. She marches out there and she's like, what the hell are you doing putting an idol nullifier in at the final five? Love that she did that because it's just too, I think it was Dr. Mike who said this on a podcast a while ago. And he was like, there needs to be a pure vote somewhere. And that would include Janet not having an idol. And Janet probably still goes home. Janet 100% still goes home if it's a pure vote. But she, I don't know. She was cocky. She even said that. She was like, I thought too far ahead. But just having 2 idols and a nullifier in the final 5 is not good.
Well, and yeah, the fact that Dean just got the idol, and then the fact that he got the nullifier at final 7. Look, I'm okay with people getting nullifiers and all of that stuff, but to get it that late in the game, it's just too late in the game to get it. If you really think about it, okay, Janet told her number 1 ally that she had an idol. Yeah. Like, shoot her.
Which she shouldn't have done.
She should
not have done at all. And she says that.
But if you think about the game that Janet played, she could not have played any better than she played. And she goes home. She set herself up so well as the older woman who overcame every single obstacle put in front of her, made such great relationships, gets to final 5 with an idol, is the best fire maker, and loses because Boston Rob flipped the freaking coin.
Exactly.
Which she might not have even flipped.
A coin that says yes on both sides. I'm just saying.
And also, if you don't want to hear it, don't listen, because it's the damn truth.
But that's the thing. Yeah, Matt C saying stop being wrong.
Well, Matt C should go away.
But here's the thing: if it was a pure vote and Janet goes home at final 5, she goes home 4-1. I'm fine with it, because that means Tommy flipped on her, Lauren flipped on her, because they knew that she was going to win, and that's what they did. But for it to just happen that way instead of in a pure vote just sucked.
And it was so predictable. And people want to say that Tommy was like the most predictable thing ever. It's like the win. It's like, no, this was so predictable. Like I knew this was coming the second Dean gets it. Like, it's so blatant. Yeah. And I'm just it sucks and it hurts, because somebody like Janet, and I love Tommy as a winner for this season. I'm fine with that. But people like Janet don't come around that often. And I feel like she could not really have done any. How come, so we always go back to the mistakes. I mean, look, I'm a freaking Lions fan, so all I hear about is, well, you should have kept the refs out of it. Okay, well, the refs should have been better too. And it's like Janet makes this one mistake that literally is not able to be overcome. Even if she had not told Tommy, if they all decided we want to vote Janet out tonight, Dean's going to play that nullifier just in case she has an idol, and it's still going to go down that way. Dean just looks a hell of a lot smarter for making the move. So how come she can make this one mistake and go out with it, but all of these other players who make mistakes throughout the game, they're able to overcome them? This is one you cannot overcome, because it happens. So it's 4th down and 19 with 30 seconds left. You throw up a Hail Mary and they make a BS pass interference call. There's nothing you can do about it. You can't overcome that one. You've done everything you can to get in the position to win. You make the stop necessary, and then you still lose. Yeah.
I mean, Janet wasn't going to, one thing that I want to make clear is we're both aware that with or without this nullifier, without the nullifier, and with if she didn't have an idol, she was going to go home. All parties knew that Janet was not going to go to the end. But 2 idols and a nullifier in the final 5 is trash.
But Dean looked damn good. He's sitting there with all his jewelry.
Dean, did you see on Reddit Dean Kowalski and the Deathly Hallows? I thought that was hilarious.
It's crazy. I mean, it's good for him. I mean, I gotta say, he made the best push he could possibly make, and he made for a very entertaining finale, because all of a sudden I'm sitting there, I'm going, is Dean gonna somehow pull this out? And there's no way he was actually gonna be able to pull it out. But
yeah,
could he?
So I had logged out of every single social media except for my personal Instagram account, and someone DM'd my personal one and said, Dean's the new Michelle. And I was like, oh my God, I can't believe it's got spoiled. This sucks. And then I rewatched it and I was like, oh, it just means that he has a super hot finale. Yeah. But yeah, so let's go to Island of the Idols. And I'm glad, I'm sad that the last image I saw of Janet was her crying. But her herding those chickens around was amazing. The cutest thing ever.
CBS Survivor's Twitter finally made funny tweets when they were like Janet leading her people into the finale tonight or something like that, whatever it was, and it's all the little chickens walking behind. Thought that was so funny. I really like that.
That one.
Yeah, I love that. But yeah, no, I liked that they went to Island of the Idols for those last 3 days. I liked that Sandra and Rob were just there at the beginning of the episode and then kind of vanished. It was cool because we just got to see these 5 players. I mean, how much fun were these 5 people in this 2-hour window? It was so good.
And oh my gosh, yeah, a 5-person finale.
So
and I know that it was like because of extenuating circumstances, but oh my gosh, like fix the TV schedule because that made it so good. We had enough time to just like witness the heartbreak of Janet. She wasn't like that segment would have been cut in half if there was another person. We got ton of Nora being Nora. We got Dean turning into a villain. We got Tommy telling us he was colorblind at least 17 times. It was so well done. It was such a good finale.
Yeah, and that
thing was awesome.
That thing of Dean and Tommy trying to find the idol.
Yeah.
Why is this not how every idol hunt is?
Oh, it was amazing. It was like there were like 4 steps to it, 3 clues.
Yeah, it was like a real thing. It was like back in the day when Sari and Kathy had to keep walking back and forth from island to island trying to find an idol. Like that's what we want to see. I don't want to watch, and I'm always happy when people find idols, but I don't want to watch somebody trip and be like, "Oh my God," and there it was right in front of my face. No, I want to see, this. They were never going to find that idol without a clue. And that's what I want. I want these difficult to find idols. Okay.
So also love that they got new buffs. Like I love that. I love that that's how this all went down. So they get these cool new buffs. Tommy, and also absolutely love that 1, the winner never gets a lesson from Rob and Sandra. And 2 is the only one to figure it out and doesn't make it happen.
Yeah.
So Tommy looks at his buff and sees there, instead of 2 idols, is an idol and machete. Also didn't realize there were like 20 machetes just laying around. That seems unsafe, but neither here nor there. Finds one that's in the middle of a coconut. Opens up that coconut and it's red, or according to Tommy, it's gray, unclear. So that's clue number 1. I guess that might be clue number 2. Then they go through that bridge, pick up the red piece of wood.
Or was it pink?
Pink. Who knows? Or was it gray?
Yeah.
And then that shows the H. And that was great because I had no idea what to do with that either. I was like, what does H stand for? Dean gets on the swing, sees another H. So that's 4 clues. And then they open it up. Yeah. That was so good. 4 clues, 5 steps. Absolutely loved it.
And how much fun was it to watch Tommy versus Dean? And I kind of had a feeling that idol was going to be unnecessary because it was still Final 5, and it felt like Janet was 100% going home in the situation unless she wins. And so that kind of sucked. But how much fun was it to watch these 2 guys look for this and battle it out? And that's what you want every time. It's like the crazy idol hunt in Cagayan. Make things more fun to watch than just, I got one. Here it is. It's in my hand.
So I want to know what you think about this. So Dean has that idol. Obviously, he knows he doesn't need to play it. And he probably saved it so that he can it's so much better to be able to physically take it out at Final Tribal. Do you think it would have been better if he played it for himself in the moment, knowing he didn't need to, but just because that's his party, and then Tommy was able to fight him when it was Final Tribal.
Well, the problem was he won immunity, so he couldn't.
Oh, right, he won immunity.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So what I think would have happened is, had Janet won immunity, I think what Dean does is he gives the idol to Lauren. Lauren goes, and he butchers this, and Lauren will never vote for him, but I think he gives the idol to Lauren. And then I think that Lauren plays the idol to save herself. Dean, Tommy, Janet all vote for Lauren, and Dean plays the nullifier on Lauren. So he essentially plays an idol and a nullifier on Lauren to ensure she goes home.
He pretty much does what Kelly did to him ×2.
Yeah.
Yeah. That'd be crazy.
It would be awesome. So I think that's what would have went down. But because he won immunity, he actually won immunity at the wrong time in the game. He would have been better off winning at Final 4 than at Final 5.
Yeah. Though that Lauren thing, that would have been, he would have lost multiple Jerry votes with that. That would have been a bad move.
It could have gone either way. It's like the Dom Sebastian thing where it's going to push some people away, but then other people a lot of people on this season just respect the gameplay. Janet still goes and votes for Tommy and is like, I love you. It's what it is. I think a lot of people just respect gameplay on this season. Yeah. And that's the one thing I will say, after interacting with the cast a lot this week, they all really get along with each other. And it's just I don't feel like there's any hard feelings anywhere. And it's really crazy. Like they all just get like, it's a game. This is what we do. You got Tommy and Dean having a good time with $1 million on the line. It's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Just two guys broing down. And then Nora just talking about her ex-boyfriends, who, now that we can talk about this publicly, one of which is Jamie Newton of Survivor Guatemala. We've been sitting on that news for a little while.
I love Nora.
Yeah.
So Nora was surprised. I didn't think Nora actually watched this or liked us, but she loved us, and that was awesome. And I love Nora. Like Nora was so much fun. She asked to take a picture with me so she could put it on her Instagram story, and I almost cried. I was like, come on.
I actively cried when I saw it. I was so excited.
Is this the real Jamal?
Yeah, I can't tell. Hi, Jamal.
Jamal, clap twice if it's you.
Blink twice if you need help.
I will. I gotta say too, Jamal Shipman. That's a good guy right there. I love Jamal Shipman. If that is the real Jamal, even if that's not the real Jamal, I just want that to be known to everybody. I'm very happy for him that he got the 15,000 from Sia, because Jamal, I mean, what you saw on TV of Jamal is exactly what you got in real life. And it's like you just want to like cozy up. It's like, all right, let's start the fire and let's sit here and let's just have talk time with Jamal. Do it.
So talking time with Jamal, teaching time with Tommy.
That's it.
That's a lot.
That's a great weekend.
Jamal and Jack are roommates. How cute is that? And Jack and Elizabeth are dating.
How cute is all of this? I love Chelsea's. She took the picture with Dean where they're both wearing gray, and then it's like there was only one showmance on this season, and just like it was these two.
It was so good. I love that people still think Chelsea and Dean are dating, because I don't think they understand that guys and girls can be friends.
Well, I mean, they can't, but
they
can.
Phil and I, this is a strictly professional relationship.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, we're not friends. I can't stand Alexa. Once we hit end broadcast, I dread the next time she's going to text me.
Yeah, it's a lot of just kind of awkward. So
yeah, but
okay, so Nora hates Dean, and then Dean takes Nora on a hot date.
It's so good. This is so good. This is when he said, I'm going to take Nora, and Jeff was like, what?
Yeah, Jeff was like, this is not what I wanted.
I thought Jeff was just going to
no one saw this coming.
Yeah, Jeff's going to jump off that structure. It's going to look like the guy in who gets lit on fire at the end of the third Lord of the Rings and just runs off the balcony thing. It's a great gift. That's Jeff when he hears that Dean's taking Nora. Yep. Yeah, like, nope. Fantastic, though. I think this is another great move by Dean, because you convince Nora. See, Dean and Tommy were playing so well to get to the final three, because they both knew if you can get there, that's all it takes. And they both did everything they could to schmooze who they had to schmooze. And God, when Nora is having this confessional and she's going on and on and on, and then at one point Dean just goes, all right, just stop talking. It's so funny. I loved it. Or
when either you're going to say this other confessional where she's talking, and then also Dean doing yoga, very late development. Wish we saw that a while ago. She stops her confessional kind of the way that Eric does last season, because a chicken runs in front, but she goes, oh my God, Pretty Dean is stretching in front of me. That was incredible. Like, where did this, like, I know this is like a PG podcast, but like, where has horny Nora been? Because I'm here for it.
She was feeling that end, man. Only 2 days away. She can
2 days away. I just need a shower and I'm good to go.
Oh my God. I mean, Dean's just over there like stretching like this god on the beach. And I love the transition though, or not the transition, but the way this all changed from Nora just being Nora to all of a sudden, like, she just can't get enough. You're a man today. I know I kept calling you a boy, but you're a man. It's like, oh my God.
Turn off the cameras already.
I know. Which, by the way, I'm pretty sure Missy had the same reaction to Dean in a different way when Dean started talking about all his things, and she was like, "All right, boy, get over here." She
was like, "Oh yeah."
What did she say? It was like the best line of the entire night.
Yeah, she had a good one. Yeah, she was awesome. God. Yeah, Dean, Mr. Ladies Man.
I know. Dean was just playing it up. He was just, look, he was just like, look, guys, I'm this charming, I'm this awesome. Look at these abs. Yeah. I might not have 1 million, but I got 100,000. And I got a personality.
What was that? Oh, and then the best culmination of this, because we'd read about this in exit interviews, but she had made a few references to ex-boyfriends, like when she insulted Krishna to her face, but she drops an ex-boyfriend reference, and everyone flips out. Janet goes, time out, no more. Just shut it down.
Oh my God, it was so good because they probably had heard that same speech 900 times, and this is finally the time you can be like, "Shut up."
And like, I don't know, like I don't make a ton of analogies in my like day-to-day conversation, but I don't even know if I could make an analogy about like an ex-boyfriend. Like that's just so specific.
Yeah, and that's like all of hers. That's all she was doing. I loved it.
It
But
was unbelievable.
she had her, if you follow the herd, you won't be heard. And I think that's the most Nora thing you can say.
I
know,
really liked it. I thought that was good. Was good. I had something else to say, but I'm missing it.
Of course.
I don't know.
Okay, well, that's fine.
I got lost in a sea of love for Nora.
Yeah, right. Like Nora was great. I mean, there's your whole final five. Like, I was trying to preach this, and finally, like they all turned up. What's up?
So Rob and Sandra, not a part of the final tribal council.
I know.
They ditched. They went home for 45 minutes to just come back.
Well, Amber's birthday is April 20th, and I think the finale was April 23rd. I'm just making stuff up. At this point.
I was like,
yeah. Rob's contract ran up. No,
yeah, we are not paying you guys one extra dime. Get the heck out of here.
I'm kind of surprised they weren't sitting in the little booth. They weren't a part of it for the last Final Five.
I wanted them to come out of the booth and be like, we've been paying attention.
Yeah, no, that was the whole Final Five. They weren't a part of it, which I thought was kind of weird. But again, at the end of the day, what makes it the best is that Tommy wins and proves Island of the Idols was pointless,
Beyond
useless, dumb. Everybody who went there lost to Tommy.
Didn't need it.
No. But the queen wore her tiara, so that's really what matters.
She looked so great. I think the tiara gets bigger every time, too.
Yeah, and if everybody went on Instagram, I got to meet Sandra, and I told Sandra to her face that Michelle was the queen, and she goes, "She ain't the fucking queen." But
that's amazing. That's so good.
Sandra is the best. Don't listen to what Johnny Fairplay said. We need to get Sandra on our good side because we're about to drop a podcast where Fairplay just absolutely, I can't even come up with just shits on her for an hour. Yeah, and I know a lot of people have already listened to that, but the way we're doing this is because of the amount of megabytes that we get each month for our podcast hosting. That's why we haven't released them all onto iTunes and Spotify yet. So we're kind of taking this one day at a time, and that's why we've only done the T-Bird one up there, but we wanted to release the entire playlist to everybody so you guys could just watch it. We know that's how most people want to do it. They just want to binge watch. I don't want to wait a week for something. I don't want to wait days for it.
Yeah.
So we're going to be putting them up probably in January. Right now with December, because we did all of the other Survivor stuff, we can't just blast them all. So we kind of have to spread them out a little bit. But for anybody who has not heard the Johnny Fairplay one yet, get ready. It is NSFW AF. Okay. It is crazy. It is insane.
Yeah, it was. But yeah, really shocked that Rob and Sandra weren't a part of the Final Five vote and onwards. Like, I guess they actually, they had nowhere to live. So I guess they had to go back. But I loved it. This was very subtle. So Tommy was the only one who hadn't gone to Island of the Idols. They pull up. And Tommy's like, I got to go first. I haven't met them yet. Like, Tommy's known that they've been around.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's why Tommy like is a huge fan. He probably wanted to meet Rob and Sandra. And he's starting to get worried. I'm not going to do this, am I? Like,
yeah.
That's pretty cool. So
I think I remember reading in one of Chelsea's exit interviews, I think it was Vince told her, he was like, yeah, Rob and Sandra there. And she's like, what the heck? What?
Yeah. Yeah. And where was it? Oh, another thing that was cool, and I know we're kind of like jumping around at this point. Now I'm distracted because Benji goes, is it more NSFW than Mama Julie's? Yes.
First of all, it's Mommy Julie's. And second of all, it's a different NSFW.
It's a different NSFW.
Yeah, Julie's is like inappropriate. His is just vile. It's just like, it's full of Bluetooth.
What you're going to get when you put Johnny Fairplay on your podcast. So we don't tell anybody you can't say this, you can't say that. But what you'll realize is when you listen to like the David Sampson one and you listen to the Albert one and the Pete one, they're like, oh, I didn't mean to say shit. I'm sorry. Can I say that? And Johnny Fairplay, I'm pretty sure, says MFer at least 975 times in 40 minutes. He breaks the record for whatever the land speed record Johnny Fairplay broke.
My favorite comment on the Johnny Fairplay video is, oh my gosh, it's time for the specialists to get really uncomfortable whenever they host Fairplay on their podcast.
Yeah, my God, it's
great.
We
have to put on like body armor before we call
We do. No, I love it. So finale, we get to the reunion. I thought that the Janet and Elaine both winning the 100K, when Elaine got it, I was like, I'm like sitting there in the back row. I'm like surrounded by women and I'm like, Cover my eyes. Nobody look at me. I'm not crying. It's just it's weird. But her reaction is moment. And Elaine's just one of those good people, and Janet's one of those good people that you just love to see it happen for them. So I was super pumped about that. I don't know if the Sia money is a good thing or a bad thing right now with how public it is.
I absolutely love it.
I just think people are going to start like my friend goes to me. So Janet won the most money on this season. Is that what just happened? Because she had that, and then she had the her prize for getting 5th place, and she didn't like the Sia money's not taxed. So while Tommy's over there getting his like $67 check from his million.
Yeah. No, I was actually, I think Dalton Ross had an interview where like he actually talked to Jeff about the Sia prize, because that's something that should be explained more. One of my coworkers, they were just like, is it Sia, like the singer? I was like, yep, that's her. She's just a big Survivor fan. So Sia not only gives away X amount of dollars per season, but she also gives like free tax advice on the money. And I think like encourages them to spread it to their family, like for tax purposes. It's really cool that like she doesn't just drop them the money and then they just get whacked with it. So she's good people.
Yeah, no, it's good. And I mean, look, she can't give it to everybody, but don't be surprised if there's more money flying around like behind the scenes. You never know. And I mean, I think that, Elaine and Jamal and Janet, 3 big fan favorites. And so for that to happen, but it was really cool. I thought that was a really good moment. And like, I'm glad that they all got a piece of that, because I'm telling you, like, Janet and Elaine, I kind of had a feeling that they would be battling out for it, but I'm pumped that Jamal was able to get a little something in there too, because he's just a good dude. I mean, I like Jamal so much. It's
I love how Sia was like, Jamal, we're just gonna do. Oh,
yeah, I'm just.
Well, saying. You did well. When Jamal first jumped in here, the first word that came out of your mouth was Jamal.
Yeah, I know, right?
Come on, everybody.
I know, right?
This is a family-friendly podcast, even though I just said the word horny.
Yeah, I know. Well, I mean, I'm telling you, it always comes back to the same thing. And this is always the episode where I just like, whoever I meet, I just gush over them and I just can't help it. But this cast, there was not one person who I was like, ugh. There was none. I wish there was. Like, I want to talk crap about somebody who I didn't like. Maybe not to all of you, but to Alexa at least. I liked everybody. It was honestly, I hate the Survivor 39 cast because I liked them all so much. I really did. It was bad. Also, me and Missy took that one picture, and the reason I'm smiling as hard as I am is because she has the softest hair that any human being in the world has ever had. It's unreal. I don't know what she does to it, but it is incredible. Good
she
for
has
her.
Soft hair. You should have told me that. I would have made a funnier Instagram caption.
I didn't need to say. I didn't want it to be like too out there.
Phil and Missy's soft hair.
Yeah, I know, but it's unreal. I don't know what she does, but it's working.
Well, hopefully we can snag Missy for a tell-all and just talk about her hair the whole time.
That's all I want to know. I mean, she kind of gave me answers, but I think she was she was jumping around there. I don't know how I feel about that, but
Missy understandably is probably not super interested in talking, because if I were her, I'd be
about her hair. No, I think Missy is super interested. We'll talk. We'll figure it out. We're gonna hopefully get some people coming up in the near future, and then
we're gonna do our usual, just like DM blitz.
Yeah,
and hopefully get some good stuff for you guys. I know we're in a weird 2 weeks. We have Christmas next week, and then I'm out of the country for a little bit. But we're gonna try to start scheduling really quickly, and then Phil is on the East Coast, which means that he and I might do our once yearly hangout.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting, right? Yeah, I'm pretty
Robert's
pumped.
trying to join, and we're not letting him.
No, who's that? I don't know who that is. I haven't answered his texts in like 4 days.
Oh my God, I have. So as I mentioned, I was at my holiday party the night of the finale. So spoiler, I didn't watch it live. And also I dropped all those videos.
Actually, none of you watched it live. I did.
Yeah, just Phil actually watched it live. I was at a bull riding bar at 11 p.m. Not having watched the episode, whipped out a computer in front of my boss and dropped those videos, and it just closed it and kept going.
Yeah.
But I had about 20 unread Facebook messages from Robert, and then about 10 unread text messages. And I assumed that you had the same, because he does that thing where he'll text each of us individually the exact same thing.
Yeah, if intern gets one beer, he just starts going off on me and Alexa. He can't help himself, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, he reached out and he actually texted me at 9:00 the other morning and was like, tell me everything. I want to live vicariously through you. I answered him while I was on my delayed flight at 1 a.m. LA time. Oops, my bad, man. It was a long day. It's not my fault. But he did. Intern came up so clutch for us. Let's give proper due here.
Big due to intern.
Intern stalked the crap out of Pete Yurkowski. And for anybody who is pumped to hear from Pete, which you all should be pumped. I will say that every one of those interviews, whether David Samson or Billy Garcia played with Yul and Tony, or, you know, Pete Yurkowski and Denise barely even like spoke to each other. I don't think we could find a picture of them together on the internet.
Yeah, I had to do like a reward challenge picture.
Every one of them is great, but we pulled Pete. Pete tweeted from his fake real Twitter the other day just to be like, hey guys, look, I'm alive. So
it was amazing.
Really cool stuff. Intern made that happen. He really went out of his way. Pete was all about it, but he, you know, a lot of these people are just hard to, track down, and Pete was about it, and Intern made it happen.
Yeah. Intern watch. So Pete does, this is going to make me sound like someone who doesn't know anything about technology. Pete does things on Twitch, which is a thing. And Robert watched one of his Twitch streams, DM'd him, and then like DM'd Pete's lawyer, and then went back to Pete. Like not Phil. Robert was all in on it, and we were like, you know what? Like, you go. Like, we were struggling to find someone for Philippines, and Robert made it happen. And Pete was a really good one because Pete's someone who just like where has he been? And if you watch the video, he's in like a dark basement, so you truly do not know where he is.
Yeah. And then some of the ones that we had, like, you know, we started recording those all the way back in May. And this was something that I had said to Alexa, I'm like, we got to do something special for season 40. Like, we need to figure something out. We know the cast. We got to figure something out that we can do. And Carl was sleeping on my couch for the finale of 38. And I was talking to him and I'm like, what if we did something? We had one player from every season. And Carl was like, I'll do Nick. And I was like, well, guess we're not getting anybody else from season 37. Not that I would have expected to, you know. So Carl, we recorded, if you listen to that, you'll hear, we recorded that before we even recorded the War Dog podcast. So that's how long ago we started these, and we just kind of worked our way through it. Johnny Fairplay and Troy Zan helped us get so many of these interviews. They were seriously so amazing. And, Sunday was able to help us get Missy, which was really awesome because Missy is another one who's been pretty quiet.
Yeah. T-Bird helped us get Judd, and we've talked to Judd twice, and he is awesome. And his wife, Kristen, is like, she's like giving her takes too. Like that was a really good one.
But she's not on camera. So it's almost like she's saying something and then Judd will repeat it as if we didn't hear it. And it's my favorite thing.
We're like, we know that Kristen told you that.
Yeah, we just all heard it. So that's a good like echo one. But what ended up happening was we were getting down to the end.
We were about a month ago, and I think we were missing 7.
Yeah, we were panicking. We were hitting a panic. And I said, Alexa, we're going to pull something out. And she goes, yeah, but I don't know what we're actually capable of pulling out. And then if anybody is not a patron, go become a patron, because we actually posted an interview with Vaughn where we're talking about Tony, which actually sparked the idea to reach out to David Samson. So go find out how that all came up. And David Samson gives a fantastic interview. He was phenomenal to speak to. Obviously, he was a former president of the Marlins. He's somebody who hosts his own podcast. He's so good at just speaking and getting a point across, and he knows Tony and Sarah very well. It's awesome. Like, don't be deterred because he didn't play with Tony. He knows Tony. He knows.
Two of the best ones are the ones with people who never really played with them. Like the Billy one is hilarious. But yeah, so we recorded because we had reached out to a bunch of people from 28, and just for a number of circumstances, things didn't work out. And I think it was this past Sunday we had recorded with Vaughn, and we were like, oh, like Vaughn, you're so great, but it's so frustrating to get 19. And Vaughn's a Braves fan. And so we had pretended that Vaughn was David Samson's son, which is like completely not true. And we get offline, and I was just like, let me see if his DMs are open. His DMs are open, slid on in. He responded immediately. We booked him the next night.
Yeah.
It was
unreal,
awesome.
and it was crazy. I mean, you'll see the dates because the dates pop up on YouTube and it tells you when we recorded them. We recorded John Carroll about 5 minutes before Alexa had to go to like an event.
I was at work.
Yeah, and she was like sprinting out. We recorded that one on Tuesday before the finale. We had David Sampson on Monday night, and we had Pete on what, Saturday? Was it
on Sunday? No, we had Pete on Sunday. So we did three in a row.
So we did 3 in a row. We really wanted to make this happen though, because it was so much fun. And everybody was so receptive. Like, nobody was pulling teeth. Out of every one of the 20 people who were there, every one of them, as soon as they heard about it, they couldn't wait to do it. Like, we had Scott Pollard come on. I'm like, who would have thought to even reach out to Scott Pollard? And only Johnny Fairplay would think to reach out to Scott Pollard, because that's how we got kind of hooked up there. And Scott, like, he's got to come in and he's got to listen to me, like, love Michelle the entire time. And Scott was all about it. I mean, he loved it. He still stays in touch with everybody. He still watches it was so much fun to record these, and I hope you all enjoy them as much as we enjoyed recording them. And I mean, really, you can hear Sierra Easton like speak about Tyson. Like,
she's so good.
She's so good. Everybody's so good. I love it.
Yeah.
And yes, Lex's is 1 hour and 40 minutes, because if Lex wants to speak, we are letting Lex speak.
We were not going to cut Lex off.
No, never. So that was like the whole idea behind those season 40 things. We're definitely going to, we'll keep on. So what we're going to do throughout the days is we're going to kind of focus in on one. So like tomorrow we'll focus in on the Fair Play one, and then we'll get ready for the wrath of Sandra and our cease and desist from her.
Yeah, we had a good 2-day run with Sandra liking us.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And it actually times up pretty well. What we're going to do is we're going to release these every other day, excluding Christmas. So these actually, by the time that all 20 are kind of showcased by themselves, it's going to be the January 30th, and this is premiering February 12th. So you got, between this and hopefully a decent amount of tell-alls, we've got a pretty fun off season for you guys.
Yes, we do. And I don't know if you have any other ideas, tell us, but this is what we've been doing. we were thinking behind it. This is why, like, for our patrons, when it would be like, oh God, it's like November 28th, we have not done a, like, what do you call it? A retrospective yet, or whatever. Or it was like, well, because we were trying to record these and then we'd get these dates in, and then it would we were going crazy over this. So
yeah, we were. And like now, I mean, not that I would ever do this. Like, if you go back and listen to some of our podcasts, we have enough slip ups where we're like, oh crap, like, yeah, we talked to Lex, but none of you know why we talked to Lex. So let's just move on. Like, yeah,
just keep going. Yeah. But so that was really it. I mean, season 39, I thought it finished really strong. Season 40, that promo was the coolest thing I've probably ever seen in my entire life.
Those like old school, like up close and personal photos. They're so good, so intimidating.
Chills.
Like Danny and Michelle trying to tackle Sandra, like Parvati existing, Yul saying the word duplicity, like, yeah, it's just too much.
Tyson not reacting to hearing he's going to get $2 million if he wins. But also in that photo, which is being overlooked, is Wendell and Tony's reaction. Might be the best thing ever. The two of them are just like, it's like the most bro moment of all time. I love that.
So good.
So, hey, I am so excited for season 40. I think we're in for a treat for sure. Adam Klein says, fireworks. If Adam Klein says fireworks, there's going to be fireworks, right?
Fireworks. Yeah. Did love how after the trailer, he's like, oh yeah, Rob and Sandra up there are going to be on it. And also here's Amber, who's also going to be on it. Yeah. And then there are 4 girls all wearing the buffs. It's great.
Yeah, exactly. And Amber still, I hope she still got it. I really do. Well, she's got it, but I hope she still got it. Yeah. Got it. Yeah, she's got it. Good for you, Amber. Yeah. Really good for you, Boston Rob, because Boston Rob, gray and everything. What the hell
Amber
is
looks
that?
2 hours older than he did in Australia.
It's unreal. But yeah, so season 40, we'll be doing, we'll keep on posting these. We'll let everybody know about tell-alls. And I don't know, Alexa, do we have anything else we want to say here?
I don't know. This is, this cast, we're really happy with this cast. We were happy from the beginning. And I was like, every morning, Wednesday and Thursday morning, I woke up like jealously, that's not a word, checking my phone to see like Phil talking about how awesome this cast was. So we obviously like this people will say what they will about this season, but it just seems like a really, really good group of people. And we're really happy. So hoping to get to talk to some of them soon. And I'm glad that Phil got to get super wasted with them.
Yeah, I did too. I did. I'll make Tommy tell a story, but if Tommy ever comes on.
Well,
but anyway,
yeah. Do we want someone so boring on though?
I don't know. I know. And he was, it's like, especially first, it's like,
it's like the 2 days before Christmas. Come on.
I know. You know what? Everybody's probably in such a positive, upbeat moment. They're all listening to Mariah Carey. They need something to kind of bring them back down.
Yeah, let's bring people back to reality.
So here's a nice sedative in the form of Tommy. Oh my God, poor guy. I love him. All right, Alexa, close us out.
All right. So make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. We've already gained like 600 followers in 2 days just from dropping these videos. So check out these. We've dropped like 15 hours of content for you guys. So if you are in for a long car ride, if you're hopping on a plane, or if you just really like us, listen to these season 40 winter retrospectives. We had a ton of fun. We put in a ton of work. Really, really happy with this project. So in the meantime, check those out. Follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And we will hopefully be back very soon with some tell-alls. And season 39, congratulations to all of you. And if we don't talk to you guys soon, have a wonderful Christmas. But we have a feeling we might be able to. So
hopefully
have a good day, everybody.
Bye.
It's only 3:00.
I know.